Welcome to Ignite Success. I'm your host, Snowden McFall, professional speaker, author, trainer, and coach. With me today is Diane Yendol Hoppey. She is the Dean of the College of Education and Human Services at UNF. Welcome, Diane.
Thanks so much for having me here today.
It's great to have you here. And I know that you've come from a couple of other universities in Florida, too. Is that right?
I have. I began my work in Florida at the University of Florida. I moved then to the University of South Florida in Tampa, and then now I'm here at UNF as the Dean.
Wonderful. And we were talking before we started about teachers around the country and pay scales, and one of the things that's so important here is to make sure that our teachers are well cared for. I started my education career many decades ago, and went right out of graduate school, and I was teaching in Massachusetts. I was teaching in Beverly and Marblehead, Massachusetts, and every grade from 7 to 12. And we were talking then that I was making 10 grand a year with a master's degree. But you said now that's changed quite a bit.
Certainly in the Northeast. I also am from the Northeast originally, from Pennsylvania. And one of the things that we can see is pockets of excellence in the United States when states really encourage teachers to go back to school for graduate degrees, and where states actually pay teachers a living wage, where we can really encourage the best and the brightest to come and be part of the teaching profession.
So I personally believe, and I'm sure you do, that education is absolutely critical. It's the bedrock of what happens in our communities, in our societies, in our country, and in fact around the world. What trends are you seeing these days around what needs to happen for our teachers and what's happening in education in Florida?
Well, the need for diversity is key and critical in terms of really trying to expand the pipeline for teachers, and particularly in Jacksonville to meet the need of a very diverse population.
Yes.
We're really excited, if I can tell you, that we just launched the most amazing program with the help of so many Jacksonville members of our community. It's called the Home Scholars Program, and it brings in students from underrepresented groups from high school into the teaching profession. And as of, I think it was yesterday, we had a group of 8 young black males join us at UNF to enter the teaching profession. And it is super exciting for us. The superintendent was there as a kickoff, the people from the community. We're all really excited that they're there.
Oh, that's awesome. I was talking with Rachel Tutwiler Fortune here on the show about the need for black males in the school system as educators. It's so wonderful to see. Good for you. That's awesome.
It's great. It's great.
And I know that you also have a real focus on making sure that our teachers continue to receive ongoing training.
Yes, it's funny because a lot of times people think that teachers don't want to go back to school because, to be honest with you, there is very little financial reward for them to do that. But teachers are really unique in that they really want to continue their professional learning. And so I did a little survey to make sure I was right about that. We sent a survey out to about 120 teachers in our professional development schools and asked them, if you had the opportunity to go back without going into debt, would you go back for a master's degree? And indeed, over 100 said yes. Wonderful. And 60 I think it was 87 applied, and 60 were accepted. We had financial help and support scholarships for those teachers. Sadly, we had to turn many away. And so it just shows you that teachers really want to continue their learning, and we have to find ways to really invest in teachers and help them do that. My son is in the finance market in Boston, and he said to me, "Mom, why would they want to do that if they're not going to get a raise?" And I thought to myself, here's an example of really teachers being committed.
Well, and truly, I don't know any teacher that I've ever met who went into teaching for the money. I mean, all of us have gone into education to help children, to make a difference. So it doesn't surprise me at all that they would want ongoing training. I certainly did, and I used it in my classrooms, and I brought back what I learned, and almost every teacher that I know does that. So
absolutely.
Yeah, it's a very important piece. Yeah. And what do you see at UNF as other exciting things happening for the division?
Well, one of the really key things that we've started to turn our gaze on is STEM education. We have now offered the very first class of coding educator certificates for elementary teachers. Now that let me just help you understand what that means. That means we are the first in the nation to offer the coding code.org certificate as a part of the teacher preparation program at our university.
The first in the country.
The first in the country. And that was actually because of collaboration with code.org and Kathleen Schofield from STEM2 Hub.
Yes.
So it's really one of the things I've found is very powerful is bringing together nonprofits and the university together to really, rather than working in silos, really bringing our commitment and activities together. We started something called the STEP Lab. You might have heard about that. It's getting a lot of press right now because the kids are in there. STEP stands for Solve, Tinker, Explore, and Play. And it's a place where the kids right now are coming for camp where they have access to Lego equipment, Microsoft, robotics. I mean, just wonderful, wonderful materials, all of which have really been donated by the companies to UNF so that we have the latest and greatest toys, basically STEM toys to play with. And the kids are just really enjoying it.
It's fabulous. So where can people learn more about what you have to offer the College of Education?
So if you go right on our website, unf.edu, you'll find lots of really interesting details about these projects.
Well, I applaud all that you're doing. I know you've brought a real innovative focus to the College of Education, and we're happy to have you when we thank you for what you're doing for our teachers.
Well, thank you.